All right, hello, Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. That is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. And we're going to jump in. Let's follow up with last week. Last week, we talked about the exciting updates in Tennessee. Drag shows are bad. They're horrible. They damage kids. But wait, the governor who signed the bill as a teenager dressed up as a drag and sees no parallel between a kid playing a joke and an adult that has a compulsion to do something that makes him feel good about himself. And now there are updates.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
What
the lieutenant governor.
Oh, lieutenant governor. I didn't see that because you just sent me this right before we started.
Yeah, it's the lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor.
He's like
all
in
right.
his 80s, apparently over the course of like years, he has been commenting like with his own like blue check Instagram account. I am the official, homophobic lieutenant governor of Tennessee.
And I'm looking at some of these things he's commenting on. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's like it's like a young Instagram model dude who's like, I mean, like showing everything
he's
Instagram will allow.
Yeah.
He pushes it to the limits. You know what I mean?
Got the
like whatever Instagram,
right below the navel, like you can see a little tuft. He's
got the buttocks showing, not too much. I don't know what the exact rule is on how much butt you can show and when it becomes Instagram illegal, but this guy knows the letter of the law to the T. He is
male version of the thong. He's showing enough butt to have like a male floss going on, some thong.
Right. Like he knows the exact millimeter in which Instagram is like, you whore, get to Twitter or something.
Yes.
And so he is riding that, he is walking that tightrope every single day. But the governor is commenting like on the photos. The lieutenant governor has been commenting on the photo stuff like, ooh, you look great, and he's calling him by his nickname and stuff.
Right.
And just like giving him like kissy and heart emojis and shit like that. But here's it, and I was like, oh dude, they're just gonna say his account was hacked. No, this is over the course of like years.
Yes, and he's currently 20 years old, which means if this is over the course of years, this started when he was hopefully 18, but still gross.
Yeah, there's that magazine Barely Legal, and you can buy it, but you got to do it while holding your head low with shame. But the thing is like, dude, how do you, if you're passing legislation like that, how are you doing it like on Instagram to where like all willy-nilly, man? I think he just thought these things were like DMs and other people couldn't see his comments because he's old.
Well, here's the thing. It's funny. I tell a story on stage about that. We have new neighbors, and the reason we have new neighbors is our old neighbor was an elderly woman, and this is hand to God true. She started posting her Google searches as Facebook status updates. So her Facebook status would say, need Uber, Uber near me, get an Uber, how to like. And so once we figured out that she was posting her Google searches as Facebook, we're like, I think your facilities are slipping, sweetie. Like she went into assisted living.
Right. Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing here is what I'm saying is I agree that I think this guy's just like, if I leave a comment, it's a personal comment that I'm leaving to this young boy. And he doesn't. And my favorite part about everything is I sent you a link too that we can talk about in a second is this is all true. And yet the only place I'm finding it are on, I don't want to say fringe websites, but like CNN's not covering this.
It's not
the liberal
news,
media.
no.
Fox is definitely not covering it. But they point out in the article that Tennessee is going all out against gays and drag queens and anything to do with sexuality.
Yeah,
and it's funny because none of this seems
gay
to
marriage
affect the economy in any way, shape, or form. All they did pre-November is say Biden, inflation, gas prices, bleh. And the instant they take power, it's like, okay, now let's go after the gays and investigate Hunter Biden.
Yeah, inflation, crime. Now that we're in power, those goddamn liberals are turning your kids trans. We got to do something about these story hour guys. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's weird. But no, the confidence of this guy, because here's the thing, that old lady that you were just talking about putting the Google searches, the search tab, she wasn't, I want an Uber right now, isn't a search you can do that will ruin you if other people find out. You know what I mean? Like if I was a homophobic lieutenant governor who's, you know, secretly gay, bisexual, like whatever, but I'm passing these homophobic laws, or like I have a constituency that would look at this basically like I was messing with like somebody underage or something. Like that's the way those fucking people look at it when they're that far out there. And so if I was the one doing this, like by day talking about it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and then by night, oh, nice butt, Tyler. Oh, it looks great, and that little floss you got on there. Like if I was doing that, wouldn't you be so paranoid about getting caught? Like, because he's clearly old and doesn't know how to use the technology, but wouldn't you be like, oh my God, they got a new thing called Instagram. I want to comment about butts, but I don't know how to use this. Wouldn't you be so on top of just Googling like how to not get caught sweet talking a young effeminate boy on Instagram? Like, wouldn't you? Because you'd be so worried about, whoa, what if China?
And they always get caught, even when they gets it. I think of because he's in the news lately. I'm pretty sure it was that fuckbag Scott Adams, Dilbert, that he created a fake account and then would go fight with people on Amazon when they would leave negative reviews on his cartoons.
That's pretty hilarious, dude.
He'd sell cartoon books, and then you can't comment on reviews anymore on Amazon, but back in the day you could. You could actually leave a comment, a reply to like, oh, this review really helped me. But he would go on and be like, fuck you, you don't know anything about cartooning, you're a dick. And then someone finally traced the account back to him, was like, dude, you're a millionaire. What do you care what fucking some nobody in Indiana thinks of Dilbert? But that's so you think the lieutenant governor would at least do that. You still get caught. You always get caught. But you'd think that he would at least like, well, I have this lieutenant governor Instagram account. Let's just create one called Bob, and it'll be a picture of a broom, you know, like Bob the broom, and comment using that. But no, he didn't even do that.
Right. It's the equivalent of like, okay, I clearly, it would not affect me in terms of my work at all if I got caught texting a dude. Like I work for a progressive channel, like, so it's whatever. But like, I don't know.
Maybe if he was 16.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the equivalent would be, I guess, if I was, you know, texting, if I was texting dick pics to Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know what I mean? And just pandering to her. Like, yeah, build that wall and show me that sweet ass. You know what I mean? If I was really, if I was doing something like that, but I was doing it on some new app, because I'm almost 40 now. You know what I mean? I don't understand the new apps. If I was doing it on some new app called Quiggly Boo, and I'm texting a bunch of stuff that could really like, and she's like, send me the dick pic next to your face, screaming the N-word at the screen. You know what I mean? Like just screaming a bunch of slurs. Dude, it makes me so wet. I'm Marjorie Taylor Greene. Tell me about the space lasers, Jake, with your driver's license next to you. Tell me, you know, if I'm like, dude, I'm putting all this on the internet through this app called Quiggly Boo. I'm going to do a deep dive on Quiggly Boo and how to make sure that no one else can find this, and then I'm DMing it and not, you know, and I would be so paranoid about getting caught. The fact that this guy is just on this act. What's it called? Instagram. I better start sexting young boys. You know, like just like what the fuck? Like, you know, you
at least you have to give him this. He was consistent. It's not like, but maybe more. Maybe this is the opening of the floodgate. Maybe this is the first crack in the dam. But it seems to just be the one guy so far. It's like he's not all over Instagram on also. He honestly, really focused on what was it, Tyler? He really focused on the one dude.
He's a big fan of Tyler. I think it's creepier if it's only the one guy. You know what I mean? Like that's stalkerish. Like if you just like young dudes' butts, whatever, dude. But like if it's like oh no. I'm a loving conservative grandfather of 7, but Tyler. No, not this guy over there, Tyler. Like, whoa, like Jesus Christ, dude.
It's funny that the McNally repeatedly used his all caps verified account to post underneath some of Tyler Franklin, raciest pictures. McNally is apparently a very italicized to emphasize it, is apparently very big on heart and flame emojis. That might be my favorite sentence in the entire article. He
Right. It's
loves
like
heart and flame. You're on fire, Tyler. You're so fire.
I love that he Googled how to do a heart flame emoji, but not can people see Instagram comments? Difference between a DM and a comment on a picture. Like he didn't, it's crazy to me.
I may have a new favorite sentence because Tyler Franklin, the guy, the kid, the 20-year-old, his quote is about his pictures, which are revealing, as you said. I mean, he pushes right up to the limit of what is allowed. About his pictures, which are revealing, Franklin says, "My body is my art. I use it the way God intended." So when he was
That's right.
born, he didn't know what he wanted to do, but God reached down and said, "Hey, you might want to oil up your body and take pictures and post them online." That was God's will for him. Is he's not going to cure cancer. He's not going to be a whistleblower and bust the government for doing something crooked. No, he's oiling up his body and posting it online. That's what God intended.
Yeah, that's right. Suck it, you right wing Christian dirtbags.
Well, the thing I sent you was funny because I found it, and I hate this what I'm about to say, but I'll say it anyway. It was a TikTok I stumbled across that I thought was hilarious because it had this big graphic on it that said "drag queen busted for 880 counts of pornography," and this guy starts telling, he's like, "Well, they finally got one. Daniel Merrick, 64, was busted. Drag queen, 880 counts of child pornography. Wait, hold on, what? Oh, I'm sorry. He's a Christian pastor and musician. Never mind."
Ah, that's right. That's right.
And so, but again, like I
Fox
said
News, stop the
earlier,
presses on this. We won't cover this at all.
yeah, well, that's what I was just going to say. Joe My God is a website that is pretty big. You go there for LGBTQ news that slip through the cracks. No one's reporting on this. No, all you see on Fox News is Drag Queen News Hour. You don't see anything, again, not even on MSNBC, the so-called liberal, about 800. And the way he was, did you read what I said to you, the way he got caught?
No, I didn't catch that part.
Okay, I'm not, maybe it might not be in this article, but what he did is he had all this shit on his computer, and then he went to back it up on the cloud, and the
He
cloud
put kiddie porn on the cloud?
he put kiddie porn on the cloud, and the cloud,
Dude.
has things in place that scrape, and like bells and whistles went off and went, someone is backing up a lot amount of porn on here. So this is exactly what you said about the other guy, the Instagram, the lieutenant governor, is he's like, well, I need to save all my pornography. All the kids are into this cloud service where it doesn't take up space on mine. I just save it out there. Click, and didn't realize that, yeah, when you put shit up there, it doesn't look at the pictures, but it scrapes and then can create a, hey, this is illegal, and then boom, authorities were alerted. They did a search warrant, and yeah, it started the funny. There's a tweet here. It started with 570 counts. Oh, maybe this is the total: 316 of child pornography, nudity, criminal use of a facility. So maybe that adds up. But yeah,
It's just funny because it's such a similar thing where you're combining a couple things. You're combining like old age just kind of being dumb a bit, and then
yep.
the fact that it's new technology, so you really don't get that when you're good. But then it's also like the confidence of these guys to not think that they should look into this social media or technology medium, I guess, so to speak, that they're using to do something that will ruin them if they get caught. It's just like, oh, dude, you've been getting away with everything in life into your wee golden
60s.
years.
Yeah.
So you're just like, fuck it, I never get caught, and when I do, I bribe people. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? You're just winging it. You're just like, whatever, man. I'll do this over here. Phone's getting full. I'm gonna load all this porn that could send me to prison for the rest of my life to the cloud. Don't know if people can see it. I ain't got time to Google whether they can or not. Like, what?
Which we should point out is a good thing. The more kitty diddlers and hypocrite politicians that fuck up, the better.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to run like a Tom Cruise and Magnolia style. Like, hey guys, are you tired of getting busted by the
Say our new
feds?
cottage
Here's what you
industry.
do with your porn. Like, I don't want to be that guy on stage getting cheered on, be like, yeah, R. Kelly rocks and age is just a number. Like, I don't. Yeah, I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
the Andrew Tate of kid diddlers.
We're not setting up a consulting firm here. Idiots on Parade Consulting. Are you a politician that needs to comment on young boys' photos? Well, we can tell you how to do it without getting caught. Do
Yeah,
you have a hard
yeah.
drive full of
I want
porn that you
homophobes
need?
to get caught, and I definitely want pedophiles to get caught. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Let's move on to a couple more stories. Not that one. This one. Again, we've talked about this, but I want to jump in just a little more. The Dominion lawsuit against Fox News. Every time they have subpoenaed, they've gotten texts between anchors on company. Tucker Carlson said in a text he passionately hates Trump and he can't wait to stop talking about him. I mean,
That rocks.
it's insane that the people that watch Fox News and Newsmax and OAN and the people that watch MSNBC, we're just
We
not
hate a
talking
lot
about
of
them
things
right
we
now.
do at work, Tucker, but you're a good employee, and that's why you keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying the people that watch, they are so into their echo chamber that they don't even know this is being reported because outside sources have said Fox News isn't touching on this at all. It's like a
Well, fuck no, there doesn't.
non-story. So people that watch Fox News don't even realize that their own anchors don't believe the bullshit they're reporting, and it's it
No,
just boggles my mind that you could show them this and say, look, this is Tucker Carlson saying, I'm tired of talking about Trump. I hate him passionately. He fucks up all the time. And then turning to the camera like, all right, this is why the liberals suck and you should vote for Trump. They don't care. They would call it fake news. It's
no.
amazing the world we live in.
Yeah, they're ignoring everything about this case right now. They're talking about Hunter Biden's dick pics as opposed to this, as opposed to
Yes.
what is arguably going to be the biggest media case, any kind of lawsuit against a publication. That's what's going on right now. And like, look, if I knew Fox News was going to get fucked in this, because if CNN and some of those other ones had to pay out like whatever that was, like $10 million to
Whoever
that kid with
to Nicholas Sandman, yeah.
yeah, again, and yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't have had to pay. Like they
No, they
fucked
should have.
up bad. Like that said, pretty goddamn small potatoes compared to this,
Well,
and the evidence wasn't as clear cut that they knew they were lying. That's the tough thing to prove in defamation cases is two things. Did you A, know you were lying, and B, know it was going to cause harm? Now you can speculate on like, yeah, well, they should have known it was bullshit. Yeah, they should have known it was going to cause harm. But like, no, in a court of law, beyond a reasonable doubt, did you know, concrete 100% know that this was a bold-faced lie? Do we have evidence that you knew for a fact you were not telling the truth? That's hard. It's honestly tougher to prove than you'd think, because so much of when someone knows they're lying, they don't like to go, I am lying, enter send. They're not all like this pastor and fucking lieutenant governor who likes to put all their fucking dirty laundry online, but apparently these guys do.
Well, because again, they thought it was a closed network. They figured, okay, I'm texting my executive producer. They forget
No,
the
that's
subpoena.
true. And to be fair, it was at the time. This is kind of different. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to go to great lengths to get all this shit.
Yeah. It's not like it was just unearthed. They had to get a court order. And right here, this quote alone, like they have massive amounts of texts. But right here from Tucker Carlson, the Fox host said of the Trump presidency, quote, that's the last 4 years. We're all pretending we've got a lot to show for it because admitting what a disaster it's been is too tough to digest. But come on, there really isn't an upside to Trump. When you say that the last 4 years have been a disaster and there are 4 years of him sucking Trump's dick, that is pretty much, showing that you are only. And then the other texts that say, the one, I can't remember her name. One woman tweeted, there is no election fraud. And Tucker Carlson tweeted, get her fired. She's hurting the bottom line by reporting facts. So
Dude, all these talking head people on every single fucking network will just say whatever you pay them to say if you pay them enough money. Look at Megyn Kelly. When Trump came around and she went hard against him and and then he fucking ended up winning the primary. She was out with her party, but then
she was
MSNBC was like, "Hey, do you want a big pile of cash?" And she was like, "Yeah, we should all have free health care." Like, what is this shit? Yeah, it's like whatever. We should let people in who want to come here. I don't want border walls are racist. It's like, wait, what do you? This is the opposite of what you were saying.
She didn't go that far, but I do remember one thing Megyn Kelly did do, and I don't remember the specifics, but she did go all in on maternity leave, where, healthcare for people, fuck them.
That was when she was still on Fox.
There was it, but either, because it was like, but I, as a woman, I understand this, so I'm going to take a stance that it's good. Things that it's kind of like when Reagan got Alzheimer's. Nancy Reagan suddenly went, "Now I am a champion for Alzheimer's." Like 5 minutes ago, you didn't give a fuck because it wasn't happening to you. That was sort of the Megyn Kelly thing. Is if it affected her personally, then she seemed to understand it.
Well, but maternity leave, that's a little bit different than the Trump thing. Just in that, that's not something.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying as far as hypocrisy goes.
I
went sideways.
Right. Yeah. Because I was going to say, like, there's no conservatives out there going, these goddamn liberals is trying to give people too much maternity leave. That's why I'm voting Republican. Like, it's not really a make or break issue for.
No, that's just more of a corporate thing where corporations don't like offering it.
Oh, right. Yeah. They're corporate overlords. Definitely whisper that in their ears, but they don't put it online. They say that quietly when they're giving them caviar and whores in a secret room underneath all their offices.
I listened to a long form podcast on this, and apparently Fox News, they're playing their cards close to their vest if they have any cards, because all they have talked about to date is the lawyers is, well, freedom of speech, well, freedom of reporting, freedom of speech. So it does go to what you said, that, yeah, you have freedom of speech and you can report, but if you are saying one thing into a camera and behind the scenes actively admit you are lying,
right,
that is the problem. You can if they did not have these texts, they would win the case. They would be like, yeah, fuck you. We believed the lies. What are you going to do?
Yeah. You can't charge somebody with defamation if they believed it's true or kind of even like a reasonable doubt thing. Well, it could be either way.
Yeah.
You have to prove that they 100% knew it. No way they can possibly claim that they didn't know right now with this evidence from you. And then the second part is you have to prove that they knew it would do harm. And that those two things are, especially the first one, which they have proved.
Yeah. The second one might be difficult. Did they know it would harm Dominion? I mean, that is all speculation. Well, you're saying all these negative things, but they have contracts in place. Who knows what they're going to argue?
They're going to argue like, well, I didn't think that would, really hurt them that bad. There's going to be some level of that, but I think to prove it, you would have to have like, oh, this is X amount of days after, or weeks, months, whatever, after it was confirmed in the news that people in Dominion were getting death threats.
Yeah,
and then you still continue to go.
Going.
That is how you would prove that, because you're right. If this happened, if this was only being reported over the course of like a week or something, then it would be tough, because it would be like, well, the death threats happened and then we laid off, or whatever. It would be like somebody who had Alex Jones on their show or their network or whatever, and it's like, oh, well, once the death threats started, we were done with them. But if they continued for years after they knew death threats were happening to Sandy Hook families, and it's like, no, you knew it was a thing. So,
well, let's continue sort of down this path. Last week,
that said, they're definitely not talking about Dominion on Fox News.
No,
they're
not
like,
at all.
Any caller brings it up, they're like, fuck you, Dominion. That is an obscure song by an obscure band called Sisters of Mercy, a golf band from the 1980s. Click. They're done with you.
Yeah, they do that. It'll be interesting. And I did see Marjorie Taylor Greene tweet on it. I don't remember, but I thought it was really fascinating. And I wondered whether she was tweeting to change the narrative. She's like, she was calling the lawsuit a fraud. And I couldn't tell if she's just trying to change the narrative or if she was doing a desperate attack because she knows how damaging it is. But last week we talked about Trump at CPAC and how there were a lot of empty seats at his speech.
Yeah.
This one I found interesting. Sarah Huckabee Sanders has reportedly declined to endorse Trump. She fought hard when she was running for governor of Arkansas to, and she right here, the first sentence, she touted her endorsement from Donald Trump to help win the governor's mansion, but Trump has reportedly asked her to return the favor, and she has kept silent. Now, it's not saying she won't if he gets the nomination, but I mean, Republicans are pulling away from him.
Yeah, well, especially Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I mean, like, because her dad was the governor too. What was it, Mike Huckabee?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, he ran for president. So she's definitely like the old guard Republicans don't like Trump, even if they say they're not. They're Fox News texting that
she
motherfucker.
Sought his endorsement. She liked him plenty when he was saying good things about her. She's just not returning the favor, which is why
it's a Fox News situation with those people that have been around for a while. They do not like that fucking look for the party. They don't like what he represents. Publicly, they might. Privately, I guarantee you, the ones that have been there for the most part, the ones that have been up there for a while, the party of Reagan doesn't like that it's now become like a fucking Kid Rock fest. It's fucking weird. And even if they're saying publicly that they fucking don't like or that they're all about the guy, I guarantee you they're texting the other old guard Republicans and they're just like the Fox News anchors. They're like,
behind the scenes.
I had to blow a fucking orange clown just now on TV. That sucked, and they're pissed off. Plus, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you remember when he right at the beginning, he came out and was talking about, Rosie O'Donnell's a pig. She's a dog. She's this and that.
I remember that.
Trashing. Remember? Yeah. It came up in the debates. Megyn Kelly brought it up. Like, you said this and that about women. Oh, only Rosie O'Donnell. And because I guess he used to go hard at Rosie O'Donnell. Well, Sarah Huckabee Sanders looks just like Rosie O'Donnell. She doesn't like that shit,
That is true. Yes. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. And did you happen to watch Last Week Tonight with John Oliver?
Nah, he fucking bugs me.
Really?
I don't like him.
Oh, he went hard after DeSantis this past week, and DeSantis is probably as scary as Trump, just or scarier, because at least Trump was unhinged. DeSantis is focused as an asshole, but
no, DeSantis sucks for sure. I think he'll end up getting the nomination unless they really bring somebody to the forefront, because I think the silent majority of Republicans are kind of done with Trump. Now, there is a fear that like the more Republicans that start joining the race, the more they're like, well, Trump has this really dedicated like 30% or whatever base of the Republican Party that'll just vote for him over anybody else.
Yep.
And if there's all these other people, they split the vote. And that would be true if they did primaries the fair way and the way they should, where every state votes on the same day. That would be fun, huh? Most of the states that don't vote first get to actually vote for more than one or two guys. That would be fucking cool. But no, they don't do that, so that the mainstream of the party has a better chance of dragging and manipulating the votes to where they can get their person on top. That's why they drag it out. They make it long. They make it expensive. They make it difficult for any party outsider to take over. Doesn't always work. Clearly, we saw that with Trump. The Republicans try to do what the Democrats did to Bernie Sanders. They
railroaded the shit out of him, and he ran the distance.
Yeah. If you push through hard enough, if you get the votes hard enough, you can do it. But they tried to do what they did to Bernie Sanders on the left, and it didn't fucking work. That said,
and we've talked about it. They're doing it. They just, and again, neither one of us cares. We don't have a dog in this fight. They took it away from Iowa and the Democrats took it away from Iowa, gave it to South Carolina, because last time around Iowa went Buttigieg and then Sanders, and then New Hampshire went Sanders and Buttigieg.
They went wrong.
And then there was another, but like they gave. For this time, they gave Biden the state he won last time. It was like the fifth state, and he did not win the first four. And so they're like, well, we need a state that represents the country. No, you want a state that the fucking your weekend at Bernie's can prop up.
Yeah, exactly. They want the mainstream old guard of the party to fucking do well in the beginning, and all these other people fizzle off. Like it's the way we do the primaries in this country is so fucking crazy and shady. But that fact, like that same thing is going to happen to Trump. He's going to be the front runner in a lot of these early ones, but the more the other candidates that aren't Trump get whittled down, the more you're going to have Republicans who are like, I will just vote for any Republican who didn't try to overthrow the fucking government. You know what I mean? Like that. I think there's so many of them that are quietly just fucking disgusted by that they're like, well, I can't put it on social media. Otherwise my smug niece with the fucking lip ring is going to, I told you so, you fucking Nazi, you know? And so, but they're quietly just sort of like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like to talk about politics, but they're going to fucking go vote in the primaries about, again, for any Republican who's not Donald Trump.
What happens in the presidency if he does get it? Because they keep saying fucking Biden's announcing. First of all, who would run if not Biden? That's
right.
The question.
It's kind of fucking ridiculous, man. Like he's been passing stuff. I know he's old. I know he slips up a lot in speeches, but he's been getting a lot of, he got the Inflation Reduction Act. He's been actually passing things as a president. So yeah, you're not going to run anybody against a sitting president. Stop. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to run the guy who fucking won last time and is still in office. He would have to go so fucking bonkers and senile between now and then.
He'd have to
for the Democrats
his pants at a debate.
Yeah, he would have to. It would have to be bad. It would. I don't see him really seriously running anyone other than Biden. But hey, it's a long time in between now and then. This time before the last general election, I wouldn't have thought, in at the beginning of 2019 or whatever, it's going to be a one issue thing that's all based on some fucking virus that's going to lock everybody at home for 2 years, but that's swung it. So that's what everybody voted on. Anything can happen in between now and then. So it's kind of pointless to speculate.
And one more question on that, because this just popped into my head. It's a sideways question, but going back to Trump, I mean, this has got to be a first, right? Well, Teddy Roosevelt ran, I think it was Teddy. Pretty sure it was Teddy Roosevelt, who was a Republican, then ran later as the Bull Moose Party and got defeated. So this is the first time a president lost and has come back, but generally they like to keep the team together. It's interesting that as much as I'm sure the Biden the Biden administration would like to sort of ditch Kamala Harris, he's coming back without Pence. And I think that's interesting, is that they'll bring someone new on board. Do you think it'll be Marjorie Taylor Greene, or who do you think gets the tag from Trump?
Oh, God only knows. I mean, it's gonna be somebody fucking nuts. It has to be, because all the other people have done it. Pence, they were gonna hang Pence. He doesn't want to hang around those fucking
Pence yokels. Is going to run against him. Pence is going to exploratory meetings and committees.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think he picks a Matt Gaetz or something. I don't think he goes full Marjorie Taylor Greene, but it's going to be somebody in that vein. I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, because he can't. The reason he chose Pence was that Pence was supposed to be the adult in the room, the sane one that oh, well, I'm not voting for Trump. But then the knuckleheads that were the constituencies were like, we're going to go Lord of the Flies on this fucking nerd over here. Right.
And we're going to hang him while we wear buffalo horns and shit on Pelosi's desk.
Oh, speaking of that, have you given any forget my question. We'll move we'll just jump for the last couple minutes. Have you been paying any attention to Tucker Carlson trying to rewrite the whole January 6th thing, showing footage of people not shitting on desks?
Dude, look, it's pretty hilarious. Yeah.
They're just walking through the hallway. Even Mitch McConnell came out and said, yeah, those videos don't show the full story. It's yes, the media showed the most exciting clips, and there were a lot of them. So Tucker goes the extreme other way and shows, well, look, here they are just walking through the hallway. Yeah, but what did they do when they got to the office? Is he's just, both sides cherry pick, but Tucker is going all out on the cherry picking to show nothing happened, when very full well everyone knows shit happened.
It's pretty hilarious. Yeah, they're going, well, this part of the protest isn't killing Capitol cops or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's yeah, but the other side, and I don't see, you can't rewrite it, dude. We all watched it live. We all watched it live as it was happening.
Who don't care.
Yeah, this wasn't a thing that CNN released a month later. We all watched it fucking live. They were
Yeah.
breaking into there. They were the Capitol cops were. They did not have enough security in place for that because they weren't scheduled to have anybody at the Capitol. They were all scheduled to be at the White House, which they were before Trump told them to go to the Capitol. Hence, they didn't have enough Capitol cops there because they weren't expecting a crowd. You know, like they didn't have crowd control people. They just had normal security people. So that's why the fuck that happened. When you're that overrun at times, you kind of just have to go, okay, they can fucking swarm us right now. We can't
this
get
is
too
happening.
aggressive. Like,
if I walk with him, I won't get billy clubbed or beaten with a fire extinguisher.
But I'm here if he starts fucking vandalizing, assaulting people, whatever, or he might have done some shit already and like, oh, but he seems to be leaving because he took his selfies and did his little thing at the speaker at the House desks or whatever. It's kind of crazy. It's sort of like, but he's only showing the footages where people aren't breaking things and hurting people. It's sort of like, listen, here's videos of Alex Murdaugh earlier that day when he wasn't killing his wife. Statistically speaking, most of the hours in that day, he was murdering no one. Let's round it down to 0.
I tried watching the Murdaugh thing on Netflix. Couldn't get into it.
Nah, guy killed his wife. It's sad. What are you going to do?
It's sad. It's funny though. I did see a couple. I didn't know anything about it until the guilty verdict hit. And it's like the trial of the century. I'm like, trial of the century. I haven't fucking heard anything of it. And then I Google it and it's like, it's really big there, but like they tried to compare
because it's like a wealthy
OJ.
family and he's like a rich guy or something.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it might be the OJ of your small town, but it's not. Although, did you see that?
What? Oh, the OJ video? Yeah.
Him OJ, going, like, I don't know why people are asking me to comment on this.
I'm the expert for some reason. Yeah. It's great. Like you could just
why would anyone ask you about what it's like to kill your wife, OJ? I have no idea.
Yeah. And then he kind of threw him under the bus, but he was like, but reasonable doubt. I don't think he did it. It's like, it's it's an exclusive club, isn't it, OJ? You can't completely throw him under the bus, can you?
I did see, and this is huge on TikTok right now as we speak. Have you seen the Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal thing going on TikTok from
No, I haven't.
The movie they did together? So there's a movie, I can't remember what it's called.
Wait, are you talking about The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
Yes, The Unbearable
I love that movie.
Yeah.
What's going on with it?
I couldn't remember. Well, they took a little clip of it. It's my wife flushing the toilet right above us. They took a clip where they're, I believe, driving, and Nicolas Cage just sort of looks at Pedro disgustedly, and Pedro's like, hey. And so now people are intercutting that with, two opposite situations. And the best one I saw was Murtaugh being found as guilty of murder, and that's the graphic says, and as Nicolas Cage looking disgusted, he looks over, and the other side is O.J. Simpson just being happy, and so that whatever the two juxtapose, it's just he's just like O.J. being innocent right now. It was great.
But yeah, man, with trial of the century, I was the same way. I hadn't heard of it. It's kind of like all of our media is so fractured now. Like it's so far from the Johnny Carson days where it's like there's 3 channels, you got a third of the whole world watching it.
Yeah,
it's the murder equivalent of hearing about some new YouTube star who's got like 20 million followers and is
not even that. I'm seeing things now where it's like this TikToker that had 11,000 followers. Like a lot of that is paid though. We're running out of time. I have been approached like, hey, you pay me and I'll write a media story about you being an influencer.
Yeah, I have too. I think most of those are scams anyway.
Yeah, it's what happens. All right. As we determined last week, do not visit jakevevra.com because it doesn't exist. Go to socials. Jake Vevra on all the socials, at Jake Vevra. But you can visit nathantimmel.com. I do have a website. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Bye, everyone. I jumped on your later. Say it again.
Later.
There we go.